They sure had a lot of RVs on display at the Tampa RV Supershow this past week.
But looks can be deceiving.
I will say the inventory crisis is not getting fixed.
This week on the RV Podcast, we answer the number one question we heard from those who attended the show.
Why is everything so expensive?
We also answer audience questions we've been receiving about what's involved in a TOAD, towing a vehicle behind your RV.
We've had a lot of people come by to get towing equipment, come to find out the car they bought cannot be towed.
And we'll hear some exciting developments about all-electric RVs.
Mover mode is basically an application that sits on any portable device, Android, Apple, the ability of being able to drive and steer this vehicle.
Welcome, fellow travelers. It's time for another episode of the RV Podcast.
Answering your questions, sharing tips, suggesting great trips and off-the-beaten-path adventures, and always staying on top of the RV lifestyle news you need to know about with great interviews and inside industry information.
Here's your hosts, award-winning journalists Mike and Jennifer Wendland.
Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Wendland, and this is my lifelong traveling companion and my bride, Jennifer. Hello, my dear.
How are you doing?
We are coming to everybody live, at least recorded live, on location from the massive RV Supershow in Tampa, Florida. And beautiful day, shorts day, 75 today it's going to be. We are here just before the show opens, and we're headed to take a look at some stuff. We're going to talk a lot about the things we've learned at the show in this episode. And a couple of quick things I guess we can say is there's a lot of RVs available.
There certainly are. I was surprised at how many motor coaches are available.
What do you think about the prices, though?
A little high, but everything's high.
I just looked at a teardrop.
Yes?
You know how much it costs?
No.
Just take a guess.
75,000?
No.
I don't know.
50,000
Oh,
for a
okay.
teardrop.
Okay. I
We
didn't know what was inside it, or if they imported it or what.
We had a big video that started off our coverage. We're going to be covering about all the stuff we saw here for the next, I don't know, the next several weeks. And our Saturday video that we just released looked at mostly Class Bs, Class Cs, rather higher end ones. We had a few lower priced ones, but the average price was, well, you tell them, because I don't believe it.
$200,000.
Pretty close to $200,000. Last year, I would say, for that same quality, actually it was 2 years ago when we were last here, just before everything shut down. I'd say it was maybe 150. What did you think?
About like that.
Yeah, I think that was about it. So anyway, we're going to talk a lot about that. We got some questions. We got some things you're going to see. The big announcement here was the electronic vehicles, EVs, not electronic, I guess they're electric vehicles, and kind of a dueling press announcements from Winnebago and Thor and Airstream about who has the most advanced EV RVs. All right, the big announcement, it's kind of like reminds me of the auto shows we used to cover back in my journalism days in Detroit, but the big announcement of the show is from Winnebago, which is about ready to reveal a new EV RV, an all-electric RV. They're doing it live in one of their feeds. They got a big elaborate TV studio here. Lots of people coming around to watch this announcement, but we'll see. They did this once before in Salt Lake City. I think they had a Class A that was like a prototype of an EV RV that I don't know what happened to it. This looks to be like it's about on the Transit or a B chassis. So a Class B EV.
The vehicle you see behind you is a fully functional, fully complete vehicle. We've driven it thousands of miles, and right now, while the range is about 125 miles, we're going to keep seeing this range increase significantly over time.
But are we talking within 5 years, do you think?
Yeah, we are talking within 5 years for sure.
So,
I would be extremely disappointed if in 5 years we did not come out with a commercial launch of this vehicle.
Yeah.
So before 5 years, for sure.
It's a lot of talk right now, right? And these are concept vehicles.
Well, they're working on it.
They're pretty cool. I will say that. They're really cool. The other big ERV announcement came from Airstream and Thor, something that they call Adventure Electrified. Okay, this whole thing is built around two concept vehicles. One, this really cool Airstream, and two, a specially built Class B plus C motor coach.
This vehicle is about 35% more efficient than a traditional built B plus van, which equates to about a 20% increase in fuel mileage if it was a gasoline engine.
And of course, it is all electric. Everything.
This is all electric. Yeah. So this is a Ford 350 HD.
Yeah, Ford.
We just took the engine out and converted it to this.
What is the E-Stream?
Okay, so the E-Stream is in a fully electric trailer system. You have what's called mover mode. Okay, and mover mode is basically an application that sits on any portable device, Android, Apple, and you have the ability of, through your finger, the ability of being able to drive and steer this vehicle. That could assist in, reducing the anxiety that comes with backing trailers, but it also gives you the capability of going places that you haven't normally gone before, right? And so the ability of unhitching and driving the trailer 100 yards towards the water, you can do that with this vehicle.
But they're concept vehicles, and while we can get a little excited, I got pretty excited about that Airstream that'll park itself with an app. It'll actually move around. You can back it in.
So start saving your money.
Yeah, that's... Oh, I mean, I don't know what they're going to charge that. They're talking about upwards of $250,000 for those things.
Start saving your money, get that second and third job.
Yeah, sell the house, the kids, everything else. But it's been really fun at this show. Big turnouts. We haven't gotten the final figures yet, but they've been talking about 100,000. So far, the weather's been great. It was a little cold the first couple of days, but...
Anything but rain is great.
Yeah, and as you can see today, it's just gorgeous, as we record
Beautiful.
this. So we've got a lot to do, and we're really looking forward to sharing you some of the things that we've seen in this podcast. And again, the podcast is being released on our RV Lifestyle YouTube channel. Also, you can get it in the audio version on all your favorite apps, and in the show notes in the blog article that accompanies this on rvlifestyle.com. So lots of ways to consume this podcast, and we hope you do. We're going to take a quick break. Stay with us. Have you ever thought of owning your own land for camping or a homestead? Tennessee Land and Lakes is selling off a 1,500-acre estate known as the Woodlands at Buffalo River in large acreage properties from 5 to 126-acre homesteads. Unlike most properties, these are virtually unrestricted, allowing year-round living in an incredible natural setting. These are multi-use properties. You can camp on them, build a dream house if you want, a cabin, a barn, a garage. It's your land, and there's no HOA, no rules. It's your property, your way. There's high-speed fiber optic internet available, wooded trails, and big views, surrounded by the most popular destination spots in Tennessee like Nashville, Kentucky Lake, and the Buffalo River. The pricing starts at $69,900. There's even great financing. Jennifer and I like it so much that we bought there. Take a video tour and get the details at myrvland.com. When we're on a road trip, we always seem to find a way to stop at a Camping World center. There are over 225 Camping World locations across the country, and there's always one close by when we need parts and accessories for our RV or just want to shop. In fact, we have so much fun with Camping World, and as we talk about it as one of our sponsors, they have agreed to offer a 10% discount if you use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you buy $99 or more in merchandise. You'll find everything you want, from outdoor furniture and appliances, the ones you see us use in our videos and we talk about here in the podcast. RV extras that include everything from camping chairs to fire pits, electrical accessories, must-have gadgets. Check them all out. And again, don't forget, use the coupon code RVLifestyle10 when you visit campingworld.com. Welcome, everybody, to this special edition of the podcast coming to you from on location at the Tampa RV Supershow. And we've noticed a lot of things here at the show this year, but one in particular.
One in particular is everything is more expensive.
I mean,
We're not talking just a few dollars. A lot more expensive.
Way more expensive. As we mentioned in the open, if you see our video from Saturday, you can see just how expensive RVs are to buy. And if you've been shopping in the last few years, you are in for sticker shock.
You are, and don't expect to bargain about the price.
It's just not going to happen. To find out why RVs are so expensive, when there will be relief, and to also talk about things like RV inventory, the availability of RV repair parts, we went to an industry veteran and a personal friend of ours, Nick Schmidt. Nick is with Sunshine State RVs. He's one of the biggest dealers in the country of small Class B RVs. And we sat down with Nick and we got some inside information that is take it to the bank, straight talk. Hey, here's our friend Nick Schmidt from Sunshine State RVs. Hey, Nick.
What's up, Mike and Jen? How are you guys?
Man, you're sitting here lakefront property.
Dude, this is prime real estate right here. Isn't this great?
It is really great. So we have been up and down, and the one thing that just has really hit home is how much more money they are this time.
Yes, it is getting to be a little crazy to use a professional term, and I'm hearing it from everybody. I'm hearing that the Dodges are the prices the Mercedes were 3 years ago, and the Mercedes are the prices of my first 3 houses combined. I mean, it's just, the stuff here. But what's happening is also they are stepping up their game with these really high-tech lithium systems, with longer warranties, with higher tech cabinets. So the cabinetry. So you are getting more value than you were a few years ago, but you're definitely having to pay for it right now.
The sense I'm getting, well, first I guess I should say I've been surprised at how much inventory is actually here.
Yeah. All the manufacturers want to have representation in the Tampa show. I will say the inventory crisis is not getting fixed. We're hearing from Mercedes, we're hearing from Ford that they are really, really hard to get right now. The Dodges are more available. The Dodge ProMasters are the most available chassis, and that's why out of these 8 coaches, we have 7 Dodges and 1 Mercedes here.
That's good. So the time build from a new Mercedes to a new Coachman on the Ford Transit, any of those, are they all the same? How long? What can I expect?
So the ProMaster, so like road truck, you order a new road truck right now, you'll have about 12 weeks, so about 3 months. Same with a Coachman on a ProMaster, but if you're looking at a Ford, you're looking at longer. Mercedes, longer as well. So they're able to pump out the ProMasters more because they have them. The Fords and Mercedes are a little harder, and that's part of the price thing also. It's some of these they're having to pay more for the chassis because they're harder to get. Ford's charging them more, Mercedes charging them more, and then just the whole thing. These manufacturers they have to pass that along to us, and in turn, dealers have to pass along to the consumers.
How are you doing with parts when you do service?
Parts are tough. So there's some parts that are next to impossible to get, and other parts are still available. There's like some actuators for steps seem to be like impossible, but then other things that we can have the next day. There's some, it's kind of like what everyone's experiencing. My wife's an interior designer, and she orders a couch, and it'll take 15 months to come in, and then some chairs she can have in a month. It's like the weirdest. This time in our country is really weird for this supply chain stuff.
Well, you got some inventory, so go sell them. How
we do
you
have
doing
inventory.
at the show, by the way?
Oh, great! This has been, traffic's been good. The overall reception. We've sold a ton, so it's we are very thankful, Mike. Very thankful. And it's because of guys like you, helping promote the brand and the lifestyle, and I think people who never wanted to try an RV before now are giving it a shot.
All right, we thank Nick for the candid talk. They're selling RVs, but man, keeping track of when they can get them and where the parts are, and those price hikes, it's going to be challenging for a while. So thanks to Nick. That noise is Camping World, and I gotta say, they're a sponsor, but they're really getting on my nerves because they're not exhibiting at this show, but in that very noisy airplane, they're flying around the show constantly telling people, don't buy at the show, go buy at Camping World. And it was kind of clever at first, but
It's
now
getting old.
it's really getting annoying. Anyway, thanks to Nick for that very interesting interview.
And stay with us, because when we come back, we answer your questions. And we've had one question in particular pop up a lot, and that's about towing a car.
Stay with us. Okay. When we're asked what's the most important modification we made to our RV, it's an easy answer. Battle-Born batteries. Battle-Born batteries are quality, safe, reliable lithium batteries that allow us to stay out there off the grid longer. Lithium batteries charge faster, they charge fuller, they're longer lasting, they're maintenance free, and Battle-Born batteries are protected by a 10-year guarantee. Now, in our case, they just dropped into the existing AGM batteries that we have, and they'll probably be the same on your rig too. Battle-Born battery experts can get those in your rig just like they did with ours. They can also match you up with the right cabling, the inverter, the charger, the solar controller, everything. Jennifer and I swear by our Battle-Born batteries. They allow us to boondock off the grid. Check them out. Go to rvlifestyle.com/lithium. rvlifestyle.com/lithium.
Welcome back, and a question we get asked a lot is about towing a vehicle. And let me tell you, this week we would have loved having a vehicle. We didn't want to lose our campsite. You know, you leave, somebody else will take it, and it's just such a hassle to drive around here. So if we'd had a car, we would have enjoyed it, we would have used it a lot. So you ask, what's involved in towing a vehicle? Well, Mike is going to answer that for you, so listen up.
Okay, this is a question that we've received from a lot of people lately. We've kind of talked about it on our Ask Us Anything about how we'd like to eventually tow a vehicle, and people are saying they do too. What's involved in it? And I knew we were coming to the Tampa show, so for all those who have sent this question in, and there's many of them. I know there's a Jack, a Marcy, and a Doug have all asked about towing. So at the Tampa show, we came to the experts, Blue Ox. They specialize in that, and we're going to find out what's involved, what you need to tow a vehicle. So what do we need to know when we decide we want to tow a car?
The very first thing is make sure that car you're buying is flat towable.
All right. Flat towable means all four
All
wheels.
four down. We've had a lot of people come by to get towing equipment and come find out the car they bought cannot be towed.
And where do they find that out? I know a lot of magazines and
Yes,
stuff.
FMCA has a pretty good publication. We can help them a lot, because if it's towable, we most likely make a base plate for it, because one end of that tow bar hooks into the motorhome, the other end hooks to the car. That device on the car is called a base plate. So you've got to get a base plate and have it installed, or install it yourself or something. So chances are, if that car is towable, it's got a base plate. But you got to go back to the manufacturer to be sure. So if you're going to buy like a 2019 Equinox and you want to know if it's towable or not, your best source is going back to the manufacturer.
Actually, I have a 2017 Equinox, and I wonder if it's towable. It says it is. The literature I've seen.
Okay, if that book says it's towable and it doesn't restrict how many miles you can go or what speeds you can go, it's okay.
So if I'm going to buy one, I call you first then. That's a good start.
A good start, because if we don't have a base plate for it, or we know most of them, we just won't give you the bottom answer saying, yeah, it's towable. We're going to tell you, make sure with the manufacturer.
All right, so we made sure. Let's say I said, now what do I need to have?
Okay.
What kind of equipment?
You've got to have a base plate.
Show me a base plate.
We don't have any here because there's a million of them made. Each car is... No base plates are interchangeable with other cars, basically. They're their own thing. So what we do is, when a new car comes out, we have them go to our factory in Pender, Nebraska. We got a campground there. They can stay in their RV there. Bring their car over, we'll take the fascia off of it and manufacture two base plates. One we'll give them because they let us use their car.
Yeah.
And second one, we'll put as a pattern and put it on the shelf. So future buyers needs one for that 2022 widget, we got one.
So right away, that seems to tell me that I go to a dealer and I say, hey, I got a 2017 Equinox I want to tow. Let's hook this up so I can take off today. And they're going to tell me, no, we got to get you the base plate. So you need to have a little downtime. You just can't go get it and put it on. Okay, so we got the base plate. What are the other things that we need that's involved here?
We're going to ask you how much the car or the vehicle you're going to tow weighs.
Okay.
And then we're going to size you a tow bar for that weight.
Okay.
So if you're towing an 8,000 pound vehicle, you can't use a 6,500 pound tow bar.
Okay.
So we would do a 10,000 pound. Majority of the cars towed today are under 5,000 pounds, so most of the 6,500 pound tow bars will work.
Right.
But you've got to have a tow bar.
These are the tow bars?
Right.
Okay.
That one happens to be aluminum that's lighter for somebody who has maybe a little back problem or a lady traveling, and most a little bit lighter tow bar. It's rated 6,500 pound, but it weighs a lot less. It's aluminum.
Okay.
All right. Then you got to have a wiring kit, and there's many of them. But when we look up your vehicle in the computer, or you look it up in the computer if you want to, it'll give you the number of that wiring kit because you've got to wire your car, so you got turn signals and brakes and parking lights, right?
Yep.
And you got to have the cables come with it and the pins, but you got to have all the electrical stuff does not come with a tow bar when you buy it.
Okay. So that's all.
Yeah, these safety cables will come with the tow bar.
These basically
they're
are safety
rated
cables.
again for the size of the tow bar.
Okay.
So those big old things there are 10,000. That's a 15,000 tow bar there, and then this is the 6,500. So those are smaller hooks because the tow bar cables don't need to be as strong.
Okay.
And then if you're in most states, if you look, most states says if your vehicle's over 2,000 pounds, you're required to have a brake.
A brake
of some kind.
Now, how long does this take all to get? Most people will go to a dealer.
If the base plate is in stock, we'll ship it out tomorrow. You would have it in 3 or 4 days.
Okay, so you're not having any parts shortages like we see everywhere. Oh, you are. I see that look.
Yeah, sometimes those base plates are not in stock. We got to pull it, put it in line, and build it, and then ship it to the dealer. And so then you're looking. Who knows? I'm not going to tell you. But
all right. Most RV dealers can do all the measurements and come up with everything we need.
Well, they don't need to measure anything. If you call us and say, hey, look, I'm going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'd like to get a base plate done while I'm there. I'm staying at FMCA. We would find you a dealer close to there, ship that stuff into that dealer, and that dealer would put it on for you.
But it's not something you can just drive in and drive out with, so that's good.
It probably takes the average dealer maybe 3 hours at least to put on a base plate, and he's got to do the wiring for you.
And would you give me just a general ballpark figure on what something like this will cost?
A complete system with a brake, a base plate, tow bar, install, all the labor costs, you're probably close to $4,000.
All right, so I think we need a tow vehicle.
I think we do too.
Yeah. Thanks to the folks at Blue Ox for spending time with us and giving us all an education. And I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the podcast. We will have a lot of videos coming out of our visit here at the Tampa RV Supershow. Many vehicles that we toured and lots to show you and talk about. So hopefully you'll stay with us on that. We'll be back next week with another episode of the podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Happy trails.